Joining us this evening, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thanks for coming.
Absolutely, thank you.
Just seconds ago, the President went to Truth Social and typed this. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. Complete and total ceasefire is what he typed.
Yep.
What does that mean? How did it come about? What's the development here?
Well, we were actually working on that just as I left the White House to come over here. So that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line. I think what it means, Brett, is quite simple. First of all, the president, without, knock on wood, having a single American casualty, obliterated the Iranian nuclear program. We are now in a place where we weren't a week ago. A week ago, Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it. So that's a very, very big thing. Now, what that means, I think, is we have to talk to Iran and, of course, to Israel about what the future holds. Because while we have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, our hope and our expectation is that they're not going to try to rebuild that program. And I think that's what the president is really trying to figure out here, is to build a long-term settlement here to where we can have peace in the region, where our regional allies and, of course, the American people, most importantly, can be secured, but where we can ensure that the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program that has already happened is not something they try to rebuild.
Joining us.
Yes.
Right.
Amazing. I mean, this is what we voted for, right? We voted for Trump to end these forever wars. And sometimes it gets to a point where bombs have to be dropped, and that ushers in peace.
That's right. Peace through strength only works if people believe that you're going to do something about it.
Right.
You know, like, they calling him Taco Don, right? Oh, Taco this. He's going to chicken out or something like that.
Dumb.
Well, let's see what happens when you're in that spot. You got to make that call. It's a tough call. I mean, he risks, fracturing the coalition. We already see a lot of turncoats. We already see a lot of people turning against him and turning against our movement.
Yeah, which is crazy because they're thinking that he is starting a war. He would be starting a war if he dropped bombs on the people, right? If he just, tried to kill the Iranian people and drop bombs on them, that would be definitely a war starter.
He hasn't sent in any Marines. He hasn't sent any battalions in to be anywhere near in the region. You could see the bombers. You could see the fuelers. You could see all the Air Force and Navy gearing up, and then we saw him drop the bombs. But we didn't see him sending any troops. He's not amassing troops on any border. There's no interest in it for us to do that.
Right.
And let's be clear. There's a difference between the regime and the people. We don't have any problem with the Iranian people. The Iranian people are great people. And we've met plenty of them, in America. They're great people.
Right.
But the regime is different. They hate the people of Iran hate the regime.
Right. And they were not allowed to be developing nuclear weapons. And the U.S., as the police of the world, as we have been for many years, is policing the world.
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget we've bombed their leaders before. And let's not forget, they're bombing our people. They're funding terrorism. So they've already struck. I don't know when anybody's talking about they're going to retaliate. They've been killing us. They have been killing Americans. They've been funding terror directly. Everybody knows that.
Right.
It's not even disputed. It's not even maybe they are, maybe they aren't. They know it. They're taking credit for it.
And to take out their nuclear facilities and not the actual people is huge. And what we just talked about the other day, there have been wars where bombs have actually ended the wars. So that seems to be the case of what happened here.
You remember World War II? How did that end for us in Japan? I think that would ended with 2 bombs being dropped.
Right.
It's probably the only proven way to actually end wars, right? Sending in people into Vietnam, into Iraq, Afghanistan, that didn't end it, right? Those were just endless wars, and that's what the neocons wanted. Right. They said they wanted to take out 7 countries, and it ended with Iran. And that never happened when Trump was in his first term. So if Trump was in on that, trying to take out the Middle East like that, he would have already done it on his first term, but we know that that's not the case. And that's the case if you're still watching. If you're watching this program and you've been with us, we thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Please leave a like and a comment because we are. And subscribe if you're not already. We really appreciate you guys. This is Speak Truth America. I am Des.
And I'm Serene.
It's a show where we are pro-God,
pro-freedom, and pro-truth. We're just a couple of hippie patriots bringing you what the TV can't televise.
That's right. We got our producer Brian back there making it all happen. Working all the magic. Welcome to episode
28. All right. So we're going to like rewind a little bit and bring you guys back to what happened since this morning, since we are filming this on Monday. So we'll give you like the updates in case you missed them on Truth Social of everything Trump put out today. So earlier today, he said Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response, which we expected, and have very effectively countered. There have been 14 missiles fired, 13 were knocked down, and one was set free because it was headed in a non-threatening direction. I am pleased to report that no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America.
All right.
So there you go. So that was earlier today. And then a little bit later on, he put out another post. This was just like a little bit after that one post. He said, "Congratulations, world. It's time for peace." Love it. And then the next update was a little bit later after that. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world. Donald J. Trump.
All right.
Yes. This is part of the peacemaking, right? And you kind of need a parent in the room, because it just seems like in the Middle East, there's just like children fighting all the time, right?
Right.
And Trump, who's your daddy? Trump coming in and being like, okay, kids, no more, get it out of your system, but we're ending this now.
The big guns. Yeah. I mean, everyone from UN to Amnesty International to just everybody, even that the left celebrates, all have said that Iran is a problem, or Iran is a problem, right? That they're violating human rights. They're killing protesters, their public executions, stoning women, cutting off limbs and people.
I know, right?
There's a lot of atrocities going on. So we already know, the world knows that it's, that they're a problem. Just nobody's been able to do anything about it.
Right.
So
and it's so
default,
funny. It's funny, like the people, the lib people who like are so about LGBT rights and all of that, human rights. They claim to be like huge advocates for human rights, but then they're over here defending a country that is the biggest perpetrator of human rights, I would say, in the world, right? Like literally you can be put to death for being gay, like it's wild. Like literally death.
The law permits public execution of that.
Right. But anyway, so back to Trump's truth. So a little bit later in the night, 7:18 p.m., he wrote, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. Peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a real leader.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, he wants peace. He knows that the coalition, America First coalition, doesn't want war. We're not
Right.
sending in troops, and this is not Iraq 2.0.
I know. I'm so
Okay.
sick of people saying that, especially these huge influencers with big platforms.
Right. Like why it's one thing if that is happening, then you can talk your stuff. But if it hasn't even happened, why are you guys trying to fracture us?
Right.
He's talking about it like that's what he's going to do. What are you talking about? Because that's not what Trump is. That's not who Trump is. You must have no trust, which means you're a fair weather fan. You're just jumping on the winning team because it's now fashionable. But now we're going to remember you.
Exactly.
Remember who's saying
I
what
feel
they're
like they just get paranoid. I mean, like being like so consumed with the news, with politics, with, you know, foreign affairs, everything like that constantly can get you to a point of paranoia. And so I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of these people is that they're just like, you know, just doing research all day. And like, it can get to your brain and make you paranoid. And so when you see something that maybe has certain similarities to things we've seen in the past, we can only compare it to, you know, relative to what we've known in the past. And I think that they are just getting a little like they're jumping the gun and getting a little confused because if Trump was one of these rhino Republicans, then yeah, definitely let's jump to that conclusion. But Trump is not Bush and has never shown us the pattern of being anywhere close to Bush. And in fact, I don't even think Bush likes Trump. So like
they tried to stop him.
They tried to stop him. So they are falsely comparing things and then they are bringing it to their audiences and it is fracturing. But I think through all of this, people are going to end up seeing the truth and it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are also trying to get clicks and they're trying to be ahead of it and be like,
That
oh,
too.
yeah, see, I was against Trump too. I was getting like, no, come on, you guys. Dumb. Yeah.
Okay, and this is the most recent update as of right now. The ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States.
That's right.
Fantastic. Yeah, don't violate it. Just keep the peace, please.
So just like there or here, there are people that are going to try to defect and try to go against the movement. Like here, we see it here all the time, but it's also there, guys. I'm sure you guys already know, but we're going to kind of take a look at like a little bit about what's going on because obviously the Iranian regime did not want their people to get the information. They shut the internet down.
Yeah, and they've shut the internet down before in times of conflict and stuff. And so what Elon did was brought them Starlink. So if their internet was shut down, no big deal. They can get hooked up with Starlink and have the information. And it was just really interesting timing because they were talking about cutting their internet. Elon brought them Starlink a couple days before their internet cut out.
Yeah.
And then a couple days after that, that's when Trump issued that warning to evacuate Tehran. So
it's a very interesting timeline there. So it's like, you know, that Elon and Trump were still working together. He's like, Elon, I need you to bring in Starlink. I needed to get into Iran.
So here, read this real quick.
Elon Musk can put the final nail in the coffin of the Iranian regime by providing Starlink internet to the Iranian people. Iran cut off all internet so that the people cannot organize a coup and communicate. Exactly.
Right. So they couldn't organize, but also I believe so that they couldn't get the warnings. So, you know, if we're going to bomb, then we want to make sure that there's no civilians. So there's no like, you know, innocent casualties. And so people will put out evacuation warnings.
Yeah,
and that's what Trump did.
Why would your own government do it? To your own people.
So this was
2 days
June
after
16th. Yeah, 2 days after Starlink was implemented. Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame. What a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. So that is when he put out that warning. And if Starlink wouldn't have been there and if like the whole internet was shut down in Iran, then they never would have known that, and they wouldn't have been able to evacuate. So
that's right. So it shows they've been working together, that Elon and Trump care about human life. They're not some monster dictators.
Right.
They didn't go after just random civilians, unlike Iran did when they fired at Tel Aviv. Because you got to understand, there's
Exactly.
750,000 Americans who live in Israel, throughout Israel. That's Tel Aviv, that's Beersheba. So when Iran attacks it, they're also attacking Americans. They're also attacking the rest of the world, because the rest of the world.
Also want to throw in that right before the time of the official ceasefire, Iran did bomb again, and a couple innocent lives were taken. I think it was 3 in Israel. So it just goes to show how kind of crazy these people are, because after the ceasefire was already agreed upon, that's when things should have ended. But there was a timeline, and they got a few more bombs in right before that time came, which is really messed up. But hopefully they don't break the ceasefire. That's all I can say.
You could see why people there are celebrating. People who have left Iran, they're celebrating that the regime's going down.
Right.
They don't want their own people to
They
die.
are.
But they also don't want this regime to keep brutalizing their own people.
Right, because the people of Iran and Israel, like the people, right, can coexist. And there's a great video right in here showing
Just give you a little
that truth.
Taste.
Is this Havana Gila?
Yeah.
Havana Gila.
I mean, that's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, we're not exactly sure, because who knows when and where these things are being released, but you can find out yourself. Pat David talks about it. He's an Iranian. There's a lot of people who you just go start talking to a local Iranian, and I'm sure they'll tell you the same thing.
They want to be freed from the tyranny. They don't want to have to live under this control where you literally can't talk about certain things with the government, or you risk your life.
Right.
If your hair is coming out of your, what is it called? Hajib or something. Whatever it is. Hijab. You could be put to death. Like, it's just crazy. Nobody wants to live that way. They want to be free.
Right.
Yeah.
They want religious freedom. Like, it's one thing to have your beliefs, to be Muslim, to be whatever, but to brutally enforce that is where the world we've all agreed that's not allowed.
Right.
You're not allowed to brutally enforce your religion. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if that's what it says in your religion. That's not allowed to happen.
Right.
And because their brutality against their own people, that is why things are changing. Like, we see a lot of the world from the Muslim community starting to find Christ.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. And there's a reason why.
And in Israel too.
Israel
actually.
too, yeah. There's
around the world, really.
Jews, and people are starting to find Christ, because Christ teaches us to love our enemies.
Yeah.
Not to hate.
And it really unifies all of us, no matter our background.
That's right. Turn your cheek. And it doesn't mean to take abuse. It doesn't mean to just, let atrocities happen, but it does mean to, whatever you're doing, do it with compassion and do it with love. I mean, even if someone could say, oh, well, you struck him with a bomb. We had to do that out of necessity. It's not, but we're not celebrating people dying. Right. When we do it, and if we have to do it, we do it reluctantly, and we do it often even with remorsefully.
Strategically too, like very precise locations. Like, we're not over here bombing hospitals and schools.
That's why Trump's like, get out of there. Get out of there now, because this is going to happen. And, and if we do it with remorse. We do it even when we kill our enemies. It's like, it's not about like, yay, I'm so happy that we did that. It's more like, we had to do this, and I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry that we had to do this, and it's not about doing it because we love to hurt people. It's
and even when Trump came out and made a statement about it right after it happened, he did, honor God and thank God. And I don't know exactly what he said, but it was really cool. And it was off the cuff. It obviously wasn't scripted. You can tell by the way he said it. It was from his heart. So go check out that clip. We don't have time to play it for you here
Yeah,
today, but
that's
go
all the
check it
time we
out if
got
you haven't
today.
seen it, because it's really awesome.
So-
and you can tell that everyone there was somber. Like, it wasn't like this happy, victorious like moment. It was like, we didn't want to do this, but we had to kind of feel.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so that brings us to our next story, which is kind of related, but also unrelated. Just to wrap it all up. But I don't know if you guys heard, but the man with the current highest IQ in the world announces that he believes in...
Jung Hoon Kim.
Yoon Hoon King. Believes in Jesus Christ is his God, the way, the truth, and the life. Like, it's amazing.
He proclaims Jesus to be God.
Yeah, and didn't you say there was another guy with a high IQ?
Oh, previously, there was
previously.
a guy that was regarded as the world's smartest man, also believes that Jesus is actually God, the real manifestation of reality. Reality has an identity, and that identity is Jesus Christ, who was the true manifestation of God, the almighty creator of the universe. So altogether, there is a correlation between what is happening in a physical, metaphysical realm, but we don't necessarily understand it. But some of the brightest minds are starting to see the connection and knowing that this is truth, that Jesus is Lord, and that Jesus was and is the God that created the universe.
It's
and
remarkable.
the source of all good. So you can see why people are starting to do that, and that I believe is why we are seeing such win after win, because we're coming to God. We're coming back to God. We lost our way, and now we're finding our way back.
Totally agree. Well, I think that's about all we have for you guys today. If you guys like today's episode, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things.
And pray.
And pray. And remember that we are all here for a reason, and it is up to us to create a better, more truthful world together. So always seek the truth and always speak the truth, even if your voice shakes.
That's right. And remember, guys, stay powered up in the armor of God, because it's only through him, Jesus Christ, that we can do all things.
Amen. All right. See you guys next time.
All right, guys.